Welcome to Blackwood Manor. Do not be afraid of what you see through this small keyhole, for the past is only trying to tell its story. The heavy iron gates creak under the weight of a century's worth of rust and secrets as the cold evening mist rolls across the dark grounds. Look closely as the monochrome world begins to shift into shades of sepia, bringing back the warmth of a life that was long ago forgotten here. This grand architecture stands as a monument to a family that once ruled these lands, before the shadows took over and claimed every single stone. The master of the house stands frozen in a portrait, yet his eyes seem to flicker with a life that defies the boundaries of the canvas. He greets you with a subtle nod, a spectral invitation to enter a realm where time has no meaning and the dead still walk the halls. We move closer to the iron lock, stepping into the darkness where the truth is hidden away from the prying eyes of the living world today. In 1892, this grand hall echoed with laughter. Now only the faint resonance of unfinished conversations remains in the cold air between these walls. The candles flicker with a life of their own, casting long shadows that seem to dance to a silent rhythm from a time long gone by. A lady stands at the staircase, her lace dress rustling like fallen leaves. She waits for a guest who will never arrive at this lonely manor. She turns to look at you, her smile holding the weight of 1,000 untold stories and a secret that has been buried for decades. Flickering images of servants appear and fade, still performing their duties in the afterlife, trapped in a cycle of service that knows no end at all. They move with a grace that only the dead possess, their hands touching wood and stone as if they were still part of the physical world. Listen to the sound of leather hitting the stone floor. These are the footsteps of those who once walked with purpose through these hollow, empty rooms. Footprints appear in the dust before your eyes, leading you deeper into the heart of the mansion, where the shadows are thickest and most heavy. The hall stretches out like a memory that refuses to fade, vibrating with the energy of the souls who once called this magnificent place their home. We transition now to the dining room, where the remnants of a grand feast are still visible under a layer of grey dust and time. The silver still shines beneath the grime, waiting for the master to take his seat at the head of this long and empty wooden table. The ghosts of high society still gather here, clinking silver and sipping wine that turned to dust over a century ago in this silent, haunted house. Their lips move in silent conversation, sharing jokes and scandals from the 19th century that have long since been forgotten by the living world outside. At the head of the table sits a young girl, her eyes fixed on something we cannot see, her presence commanding the attention of the room. A single tear falls for a childhood lost, a moment of sadness frozen in time, as she realizes that the party ended many years ago. The food appears and disappears, a visual echo of the many banquets that were held here before the house fell into a deep and dark silence. They are waiting for a main course that will never be served, caught in an eternal loop of expectation and disappointment within these cold walls. The glass ripples as the house breathes, reacting to the heavy footsteps of a past that refuses to stay buried beneath the floorboards of today. On the walls their shadows continue the dance, a pantomime of a life that was once vibrant, loud, and full of human passion and desire. Every object here holds a memory, a physical connection to a world that has moved on, leaving only these relics behind to tell the tale. We enter the library, a sanctuary of forgotten knowledge where the scent of old leather and mahogany still lingers in the cold, stagnant air. An old man sits in his favourite chair, forever lost in the pages of a book that he's been reading for over 100 years. His hand moves with a slow, deliberate grace, turning pages that have turned to brittle parchment in the long centuries of his lonely, silent vigil. The smoke from his pipe still hangs in the air, a ghostly ribbon of blue that twines around the shelves of books and forgotten family histories. In the swirling smoke, the faces of the past appear for a fleeting moment, whispering secrets to anyone who is brave enough to listen closely. The names on these books are the names of the dead, a written record of a bloodline that was as powerful as it was deeply cursed. The ink is still wet on the page, as if the history of this house is being written in real time by an invisible and tireless hand. Words appear on the paper, documenting the tragedies and triumphs of the Blackwood family, ensuring that their legacy will never be truly forgotten by time. Knowledge was the only treasure they took to their graves, yet in this room, the wisdom of the past still glows in the cold moonlight. The clock ticks away the seconds of an eternity, a rhythmic reminder that while the people may die, the house and its stories live on forever. Now we climb to the attic, the highest point of the manor where the most precious and painful memories are kept locked away from sight. A porcelain doll sits among the cobwebs, her glass eyes following your every move as if she's guarding the secrets of the Blackwood children. She has seen things that no one should ever witness, and her silent stare holds the echoes of nursery rhymes and soft, ghostly laughter from above. A child stands in the corner dressed for a funeral that took place long ago. He remains here, a quiet witness to the family's decline. He warns you to be quiet, for some secrets are better left undisturbed in the darkness, where the living are not meant to tread tonight. The trunks open to reveal the remnants of lives once lived, the lace and silk of a world that has been consumed by time and decay. These letters tell of loves lost and promises broken, the written evidence of a family's heart that stopped beating more than 100 years ago. The colours of the past flash before our eyes, a desperate attempt by the house to remember the beauty it once possessed in the light. A music box plays a broken tune, a melody that once put children to sleep but now only serves to haunt the silence of the attic. The shadows are closing in, reclaiming the attic and its secrets, hiding the truth once again beneath the dust and the heavy weight of silence. And we move outside to the family cemetery, where the Blackwoods finally found their peace beneath the cold stone and the damp, dark earth of England. A carriage passes by, a silent procession of grief that has been repeating its journey to the grave for over a century in the mist. The sound of hooves echoes through the night, a rhythmic drumbeat for the dead as they are carried to their final, eternal resting place here. The mourners stand in a circle of sorrow, their faces hidden by black veils, weeping for a loss that the world has long since forgotten. They are but shadows now, part of the fog that clings to the ground, eternal guardians of the family plot and its many dark secrets. We look back at the manor one last time, a grand silhouette against the sky, a house that refuses to die even as its inhabitants fall. For a brief moment, we see it as it was, a place of light and laughter, before the weight of time and tragedy pulled it down. The stone crumbles and the glass breaks as the reality of the present returns, leaving only a skeleton of the greatness that once lived here. Death is not a final goodbye at Blackwood. It is merely a transition from our reality into the eternal frames of an era long past. We return to the lock, the gateway between our world and theirs, as the journey through the keyhole comes to its inevitable and final end. A ghostly hand turns the key, sealing the past away once more, protecting the secrets of Blackwood from the prying eyes of the modern world. Thank you for peering through the keyhole of time. Be careful, for when you gaze into the past is also gazing back at you. The house remains, still waiting for the next curious soul to look through the lock and discover the haunting truth that lies hidden within.